Hey everyone, how are you doing today? I hope you're all doing very well today, and welcome to this video. Now in today's review I'm going to be bringing you Hermès Equipage. But first of all guys, let's take a look at the overview. Now Equipage is characterized as an aromatic, and the scent was created by a perfumer named Guy Robert, who has created a few fragrances from Hermès such as Caleche from 1961 and Douglas from 1955. Now the fragrance is described as a warm, spicy, woody and floral scent. The bottle I own is from the early 80s and it's a gorgeous bottle design, as you guys can see. I don't actually have a lot of the juice left, but for what it is, it's a really nice fragrance. I got it for a really good deal on eBay, so I'm really pleased. Couldn't be any happier, to be honest with you. Because it really is such a high quality scent. The version I own is from the early 80s according to my eBay seller, and I can definitely tell. I mean, the version of this is just really stunning. Like if you look, for example, the atomizer is just really old-fashioned. Really like it. We get nice writing on the front. We get Equipage. I pronounce it differently every single time. Eau de Toilette, Euro Spray, Hermès, 125ml. Of course, there's about 30ml left in here. So yeah, and the only problem is, I mean, the cat makes a bit of a weird noise, but it doesn't really matter. So yeah, guys, that is pretty much the overview. So yeah, as you guys can see, the bottle design is indeed amazing, right? I mean, as you guys can see, like I said, I don't have much juice, but that's okay. I really don't mind. I got it for a really good price on eBay, so I don't really mind. And at the end of the day, this fragrance goes for like over £100 anyway, so it's a really expensive scent, but you really do pay for what you get. So guys, let's apply and we will talk about the smell. Now the spray for this is amazing, guys. It's what you call an aero spray, and this existed a lot in a lot of older fragrances. Basically this spray, it gives you like a big blast. But there's a lot of fragrances back in the past when you used to just hold down the spray and it would continue to spray out. I thought that's what this was going to be, but it still gives you like a huge blast. Like right now, I stink. So the top notes for Equipage by Hermès, we get bergamot, lemon, orange, rosewood, mace, and aldehydes. So the opening is definitely perfect for somebody who likes the classics, like no doubt about it. To me, this smells like an original blend, like nothing else to me, at least in the opening. Like it doesn't smell like anything else from first spray. It just smells citrusy, but it's not like in your face. It's not like an overly like zesty scent, but there's just this big, like, it's just like this big boost behind the citrus, this big warm boost. And I'm getting so many different notes. It's just like a really warm, spicy, citrusy, mossy, leathery scent. It really is quite extraordinary. Like, it just smells so classic. Like, whenever I smell this, I do think of the 70s. I do think of, you know, I can imagine somebody like Barry Gibb from the Bee Gees wearing this, actually, saying that. There's also a woody feel, so I'm guessing that's the rosewood, but I'm no doubt about it. I'm definitely getting that bergamot, the lemon, and the orange. Really nice. Of course, it isn't, like I said, it's not like a super strong citrusy scent, but it's very woody, and it is literally just a beautiful scent. Ugh. It's like, even though it has its citruses and it's got that woody, sort of leathery, mossy smell to it, there is also this really appealing barbershop vibe to it. And it doesn't necessarily smell like, you know, a barbershop's hair cream or, you know, something that you would smell in a typical barbershop. This has a more of a smoky, woody, more spicy take on a typical barbershop type of fragrance. And boy, didn't the 1970s just love their aldehydes. I mean, the fragrance has a boldness to it, so I'm guessing that could be the aldehydes. It just smells like this big, bold, masculine aura. Literally. But incredible. Oh, God. We also get the note of mace. Now, in case you guys don't know what mace is, because I've never actually heard of it myself. Actually, well, I have now, because I looked it up. But in case you guys haven't heard of mace, it's pretty much described as a spicy smell. It's similar to nutmeg. And in all honesty, I do get a bit of a nutmeg vibe, but it's more on the smoky side, so it doesn't smell like a natural, you know, nutmeg or any other nutmeg that I've ever smelled. It's definitely just, I think, in all honesty, the fragrance itself, this fragrance is just so smoky, and it gives all of the notes just this smoky characteristic, you know? So yeah, just a nice spicy citrus with a smoky woody character to it. Like, it's just so 70s. It's like something I can imagine somebody wearing from the disco era. So, you know, really masculine, like hairy chest with a necklace, sort of, you know. It does smell dated, no doubt, but it does have its sex appeal in there. Like, it definitely does have a smell that would have really worked for a lot of men back in the day. I mean, I still have no doubt a lot of men still wear this, but I'm talking about men my age. Actual 1970s kids. You know, they probably would have gone for something like this. I don't know. I mean, all masculine fragrances were strong back in the day, so there was no such thing as men wearing men's scents, because this was all that was around back then. Which is why it really puzzles me when people are like, oh, you know, fragrances like Quorum or Kuros, you know, only men can wear those fragrances. What do people mean by that? Like, seriously. It doesn't make sense. Just because it came from a time where you weren't necessarily born in doesn't mean you can't wear that fragrance. It's ridiculous. It's all to do with the year. It's got nothing to do with who actually wears it. It's stupid. And I know that I'm kind of ranting a bit, but it does get to me. It's like, wear whatever the hell you want. I've always said it. Ever since day one, ever since I started this YouTube channel, wear what you want. And this is a fine example, because I fucking love this. Now, the one thing that I love about Equipage is just the overall quality. Now, I don't know if this is just because it's a vintage fragrance, even though I have looked at reviews and it gets so much praising. Even from the new, you know, reformulation, I'm sure it's still amazing. I haven't smelled it. I've only been judged on Equipage through the vintage bottle, so I can't say too much, but beyond any fragrance in my collection, this one has the best lasting power. This one has the best sillage. Out of any perfume, literally eau de parfum strength fragrance, or even any eau de toilette, any extract parfum fragrances that I have in my collection, this one outbeats them all, and it's amazing. You can really tell that a lot of love went into this fragrance. And what I love about this fragrance as well is it doesn't smell old. A lot of people ask me fragrances, it's like, you know, when you review old fragrances, do they smell like they've turned or anything? No, the one thing that I really focus on doing when it comes to vintage fragrances is I really want to make sure that I'm buying right. I don't want to make sure that I'm buying crap, basically. And the seller had kept this in his wardrobe, I believe, in the dark for many, many years. He kept it in a cool, dry place. And you can tell, you can really tell. Like, even though the cap has like a few stains around it, it adds to that, you know, sort of look. But of course you guys saw that in the presentation. But yeah, it's an amazing scent. So yeah. Now, in the middle notes, guys, we get lily of the valley, jasmine, carnation, cinnamon, and pine needles. Okay. Now, once this fragrance really dries down, you do start to get a lot of smells. It really starts to smell wonderful the longer it really like sets in and dries down. I get a lot of jasmine, and I also get a lot of like lily, which really does create this really nice floral. It does give the fragrance the soft edge, which I think is really what's needed. If this fragrance didn't have the florals, it would probably not smell that nice, in all honesty, because you've got to think there's a lot of notes, spicy notes and animalic type notes in this fragrance. Like, there's musk and stuff in the dry down, but I'll talk about that later. But yeah, like, there's a lot of dominant notes in this fragrance, which, in my opinion, are all blended very masculine. Like, whereas with the florals, they do have a bit of a feminine vibe, so it really does bring a nice, you know, nice, gentle touch to the fragrance, which I think is what's definitely needed. We also do get a lot of cinnamon, and the cinnamon in this fragrance is what creates the overall spice. So if you do like spicy fragrances, cinnamon is my favorite spice. I don't know about you guys, but if you do like spicy fragrances, this is just a great one to go for. It's just really, really good. It's like, the cinnamon in this, it's done perfectly. It's very dry, it's spicy, but a little bit resinous, but no doubt about it. Amazing. There is also a pine smell in there as well, but it isn't like festive smelling, because whenever I smell pine needles, I think of Christmas. Not indeed in this fragrance. This is more outdoorsy. Like, I can imagine wearing this in the middle of a forest in the middle of winter. Like, because of its rich, warm notes, it gives off that sort of vibe. But let's just talk straight away about the base notes. So the base notes are oak moss, tonka bean, vanilla, patchouli, musk, leather, and vetiver. Now, the dry down comes into play around the 4th hour. So once it comes, the scent really does begin to turn into a much more smoother, dry, woody vanilla, vetiver, and oak moss type of scent. The vetiver is green, as you could imagine. although it isn't like your typical green dry down. There's vanilla in there as well, which creates a bit of a creaminess, so it is nice. Sorry about the change in the camera angle, guys. My phone battery actually just died, so please do forgive me. But as I was talking about the dry down, yeah, this is just a really nice green, sort of very grassy type of vanilla dry down. Really, really nice. Although I do get a lot more notes, but I love that combination between the oak moss vanilla and the vetiver. It just creates this like really nice woodland feel. Kind of like being in the middle of a forest, like I said before. It's just like being in the middle of a forest in the middle of winter. Then part of me thinks of a farm. I don't know if you guys think that, but I think of like a farm when I smell this. Like I can imagine riding horses, or maybe I'm just getting the overall leatherness, you know, out of this fragrance, which could just so happen to remind me of a horse's saddle, maybe. It does have a bit of a, you know, a barn type of warm, rich type of smell to it. Like I can imagine where, like this smell is very farm-like. I've never really noticed that until now. I mean, yeah, it is. It's like a leathery, woody smell. Like I can just imagine like an old wooden kitchen. Like imagine like an old-fashioned wooden farmhouse kitchen. Yeah, with the smell of the warm spices in the air from the cooking and that. And it's snowing outside. Yeah, that's what I get out of this fragrance. Amazing scent. Like looking at the notes, like if I hadn't smelled this fragrance and I was looking at the notes for the first time, I would be thinking to myself, wow, that could really give off a Christmassy, festive type of smell. No, not at all. This is very very wintry smelling. The only way I can describe that is because it just has so many warm notes, and it reminds me of something you would smell in the winter. It's just, yeah, it's woody, musky, leathery, old-fashioned smelling, no doubt. Again, it is dated, but this really is an amazing fragrance. Now, guys, now that we've talked about the smell, let's talk about, of course, everything else. Now, this fragrance to me is a masterpiece. The scent lasts for over 10 hours on my skin. In fact, the other day, it lasted from about 12 in the afternoon to about 3 a.m. the next morning. That was about 2 days ago. So the strength on this fragrance is nuclear. It really is. I mean, I'm sure it hasn't changed ever since it's launched, you know. I'm really sure it hasn't. I mean, it still smells fantastic. It still smells fresh. It still smells alive as it was back in the day. And that's what I love about good eBay sellers, you know. And the guy who sold me this, I appreciate it. It's amazing. It really is. So, guys, I really do hope you've enjoyed my review for this amazing fragrance. This is, again, an old fragrance, but really does have something to offer. And I think if a lot more people smell this out, they will really, really like it. Again, it is an expensive fragrance. I do understand that people wouldn't want to pay the big bucks. But if you can even find like a vintage version of this, because I've seen a few vintage miniatures going for like fairly cheap on eBay. So if you guys want to check it out, see what you think. Or if you guys have been smelling this fragrance with me in this review, awesome. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. It really does mean a lot to me. Thanks so much for all the support. My subscriber count's just going up and up and up every day. You guys are absolutely incredible. I hope you're all smelling good. Have a great one, guys. Bye for now.